Today, we're going to be talking about the anniversary of 91BTV. Hello people of the world and of 91BTV. My name is Kevin Jackson and welcome to this latest episode of Cameras That Make Us Friendship and Love. So guys, we are basically celebrating and talking about the 20th anniversary of 91BTV. I can't believe it's here. I haven't been consistent in YouTube videos, for the past few years. So this really kind of snuck up on me, once I checked the date and, a date just passed, which is basically our anniversary, March, April. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Just to see how far I've come, how far we've come, from just a tiny idea in a young boy's mind to over 1,000 videos here on YouTube. And it's just crazy to see. It's so amazing. 91BTV originally used to be 91 Bathroom TV. And you could probably see that name littered across the internet and, littered across older videos on this channel. But what that basically was, semi-quasi fake company that I had all my friends in, to something that was, focusing on making TV shows or short films and stuff like that, to now just being solely the YouTube channel, so it's just amazing to see that all develop and go over the time. If I flash back with y'all, some of you guys were here, some of you guys weren't here, just back to when it kind of started. It started in March, April 2006. I was a young boy. I was 8 years old, you feel me? So that's why I said quasi, semi, fake company. It was basically just started, the biggest thing was membership, right? So it was all my friends were members of the company and they all had to sign a contract. And mind you, this contract was long. This contract was huge. And I had basically all the ideas that I ever wanted to implement, in each stage of my life in this contract. So if somebody has their hands on it, hopefully they don't, because there's a lot of good ideas that I still could be doing in there. Basically, it was talking about all the ideas that I had for technologies at the time, or all the ideas that I had for shows and movies and things of that nature. So it had everything in there, and all my close friends were part of the organization. They all got their own little membership cards and stuff like that, and they all were VP of this, president of this, supervisor, manager of this department or this division of the company that was focused on different things. So all the way up into 2016, we kind of had three main divisions. It was products, services, and media. So products was basically talking about products that I would sell on my eBay store, or some of my songs and albums that I would just sell online as well. Went through different iterations of vendors, but Selfie was the last one. And then services, that was a big portion too. So that was basically offering a Spectrum or a Cox or Xfinity. It was basically offering home phone, internet, and also television, just for a low monthly price of $20 a month. And this is of course not the premier, not the best thing out there, but it was actually something that I could do. But it wasn't. It was quasi illegal, but it was it was just funny. But those were services that I kind of provided, you know what I mean, to people that actually wanted them, and also it was kind of the umbrella of my computer support or tech support service called Tech Help. So I was originally just helping friends and family members, and just close members of the community, around me for things like that, all under the services division. And then media was the biggest thing, right? So I started always wanting to make a television network. So how people sing in the shower, at my young age, in the shower, I was planning the ultimate domination of the cable television networks, with my own television network, with my own shows and movies. So there were a bunch of things in this membership contract, and a bunch of things that the company couldn't do, or ideas that I always wanted to do, imaginary ideas and things of that nature. And those were all divisions in the company and all things listed out in the membership. But it's just funny to see what my young brain was thinking about. I was going back into my into like my cloud storage and taking a look at all the different things that I wrote down and typed down, and it's just amazing just to see all that stuff, you know. But that branched out from just, you know, fake TV shows and fake movies that I always thought that I always imagined I would want to do, or, you know, planned out in my head, you know, to actually being something that I actually did. So in a previous video that we talked about, you know, I was talking about just my love for film, my love for shows and movies and things of that nature. And I kind of talked about like how we took 91 BTV as like a television network and actually like brought it here to YouTube. Like at first it was on Stickcam, and then it was on like the service called Livestream, and then we brought it to YouTube. But I was actually doing real shows on there. I had this show called Kevin's Life, that like I scripted out a little bit, and that was just basically like an imaginary version of Hannah Montana for me. And that's here on the channel if you really want to see that. And I really try to do auditions, because like I really wanted people. It's probably around the 7th grade. This is kind of like where I really wanted people to like be in my shows and be in my movies and things of that nature, because everything was just a one take. You know, it was just me, one actor. Monologue basically with me talking to myself or whatever, acting as different people. So that was in Kevin's Life, and that was in a movie that I made called Summertime. I believe it was Summertime or Summer Trip. And that was actually like a movie that I burned on DVD and showed to my 4th grade classmates like at the end of the school year. Kind of crazy. So I was really big into that. So I did try to do the auditions, but nobody really was down across my school or like my community. So I just continued to just do them myself. And, you know, when we transitioned to YouTube now back in 2014, that was kind of really when I went like really deep into having actual like skits and short films and things, and actually having, you know, shows. So we had Kevin's Life Manga, where we started back in 2014. We had Kevin's Life Manga's Friendship and Love, which I started in about like 2012, 2013, and then continued that on YouTube. And then ACVG, Tech Now. So all our content is still here, you know, but I'm not really doing that stuff anymore. So it's just mostly just the, you know, like this Kevin's Life Manga's Friendship and Love and Kevin's Life Manga's, which is now Kevin's Living Moments. So everything went through a name change and a rebranding, because, you know, as a kid, you kind of just like, you kind of think of crazy things like 90 bathroom TV, you know, like, and that was a combination of ideas talking about, you know, it was originally like, you know, a television network, you know, and I thought of it in the shower or the bathroom, you know, and 91 was because, you know, we were delivering and distributing it in the SoCal area, you know. So, you know, where the 91 freeway is. So, I had to everything went through a change, you know, and the slogans and the motto went through a change as well, you know, with the logos over time. And, you know, everything's here to be visible. It's just crazy to just see like how things have developed, how things have changed, you know, just how long have I been, you know, curating or like trying to grow this idea, this brand, you know. It's just amazing, you know. Just thinking about like some of the projects that like some of the fun projects or the fun memories that I've had just like with 91 BTV is just like the Green Awards, I would say. So the Green Awards is like an every other year award show, Oscar like award show that I had, and that was basically celebrating all the actual TV shows and movies that and music videos that I developed, talking about who is the best or favorite employee, member, or customer. And you can see the last one that I actually did, you know, here on the channel. But it's just so funny to throw back to that time, you know, and to see how I was feeling, you know, to read up on, you know, my life at that time too, which was, you know, kind of crazy for a high schooler, right? So it was just very interesting to see that, you know. And I'm just happy that I'm getting back to being consistent with videos. I'm happy that the videos here on the YouTube have affected people. Like my Tech Now videos are probably the highest viewed videos here on the channel, and you know they've helped people. Some mean comments, but it's helped people, you know, with a lot of things, with the unboxings or first impressions or giving reviews on products. You know, my music videos entertain people. Some of my vlogs gives insight to different things that are going on in my life. And even if it's not for other people, it's for myself because this is my hobby. This is what I love to do. I like going back and looking at my Kevin's Life manga daily vlogs and seeing how I was in my last year of high school or how I was in my first year of college, and the Kevin's Living Moment weekly vlogs and just seeing how I was, throughout COVID or how I was, towards the end of my college experience. Those are things that, like, if I wasn't adamant or just like dedicated to do those videos, I wouldn't know how it would be hard to remember, how those times are, because you're always creating new memories, you're always creating new moments. So it's the ones, the areas of your brain that you don't activate frequently, they kind of go away. So it was kind of just great to see that here on the channel too. And before I go, it wouldn't be right if I didn't shout out all the people that helped me along the way, because there are definitely people that sat with me, that filmed for me, that edited for me, across the whole span of this company, like my best friend Hano Kadane, which was always filming for me, my mom, which is always giving me the support that I needed, for just any idea, just like cultivating like just an imaginative brain and like all the ideas that I had, supporting me and driving me to different places, family members driving me to different places to film, shout out to the people that edited my videos or like did their own films, like Jeanette, shout out to them for like really like helping me and with everything that I wanted to do, for the YouTube channel, for the media network, Shout out to all my original friends that were, signing the membership contract and becoming a member, what I'm saying? Even though it was all fake and all funny stuff, it kind of just helped, build trust, and that's just like what friends are for, what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that looked at my scripts, that, critique my scripts, that, helped me make them better. Anybody that ever advertised for 91BTV, whether that might be a show that I was doing or a music video or a song or album that I was selling, anything like that. Shout out to all you guys for supporting, and shout out to you guys for watching. That's a big thing, what I'm saying? Upping the view count, upping the subscriber count. I really appreciate that, because without you guys, I wouldn't be the way I am today.